Friday on Melrose Mountain in Tryon, North Carolina. Higher Ground is the name of our place, and we're getting a cool front moving through that could actually bring the first time in history snow to this part of the area this early in the year. We're really not expecting any to stick, but we could actually have some snow come down, and the temperature this morning when we got up was below 40 degrees, and it's supposed to get even colder on Saturday. But we're looking forward to having a chance to go down to a Halloween alternative and share the wordless book on behalf of First Baptist Landrum, and hope that, well, actually we're praying that a number of people will accept Christ as their Savior. Did your parents ever say to you, "Are you listening? Are you listening?" Or have you ever said to your children, "Are you listening to me?" Well, I couldn't help but to think about that phrase when I was looking through 2 Kings chapter 22, when God was speaking through prophets during a difficult time in the lives of the nation of Israel. It's really interesting because in chapter 22, verse 1, we find that Josiah became king when he was only 8 years old. Can you imagine being king at 8 years of age? And it immediately said to me that probably at 8 years of age, Josiah didn't have wisdom and knowledge to be king, but apparently he had some people around him who were those that could use wisdom and knowledge for him. But as you look at chapter 22, verse 2, it says something that I think all of us should wish that would be said about us. As the saying about Josiah, it says, he did right in the sight of the Lord. He did right in the sight of the Lord. That's a great thing to be said about you by those that are watching your actions and your lifestyle. In chapter 23, verse 3, it says that Josiah led the nation of Israel into a covenant relationship with the Lord. Most of all, he was committing for himself, but he was encouraging the others to also enter into that covenant, to walk after the Lord, to keep his commandments, his testimonies, his statutes, with all of his heart and all of his soul. I've said a number of times since my redirection and having retired my full-time pastorate, that the one thing that I pray that I'll be able to accomplish in whatever years I have remaining is to finish well. I think that's important. I think it's important to do well all of your life. I mean, here's Josiah at 8 years of age doing right in the sight of the God, and entering into a covenant relationship at a very early age, to walk with the Lord and to continue to keep his statutes and his testimonies and his commandments. But it also is very important that it not be a 50-yard dash, it be a lifetime objective. And when we're as old as I am, and most of our life has already gone before us, there's nothing we can much do about what we've already accomplished or what we haven't accomplished, what we've done and what we haven't done. But one thing we all have in common, starting right this moment as you listen to this particular devotion, is we can be determined to say what Josiah said in his covenant. God, I'm going to try with all that's in me, all of my heart and all of my soul, to walk after you, to keep your commandments, your testimonies, your statutes with all of my heart and all of my soul, to finish well. And I hope that as you think about this devotion today, you'll think about finishing well, whether you're 8 years old, whether you're 80 years old, or someplace in between. You see, finishing well starts with today for all of us, no matter what our age is. What are the deterrents to finishing well? I sat here today and I made a list of just 4 items that I believe are great deterrents to finishing well. The first one is disbelief. That we not believe God and know that his ways are the right ways, and to have a disbelief that by following his commandments and living for him, we'll not have the greatest life. Second is lack of trust, that we not trust God to know better than we do about what's good for us, what's bad for us, and to trust him for even those things that seem impossible. The third thing was that we harden our hearts to sin. That is, we continue in a certain sinful area in our lives to a place where it no longer is pricking our conscience, and we no longer feel guilty about doing things we know are wrong. And finally, the fourth thing is the temporal pleasures of sin, that we enjoy sin so much that we continue in it because of its temporal pleasure instead of looking at the long picture and the consequences of sin. Well, I hope that you'll finish well. Are you listening? Are you listening to me? Those are the words that I hope that you'll remember, and I hope that you'll enter into that covenant with God to finish well. God bless you and have a great day.